Hello.
Hello! Hi.
Hey.
I'm a little bit sniffly today, I'm sorry. I'm cuddled up in my giant scarf.
It's a very nice giant scarf.
Thank you! I'm using it as a leg scarf.
That's not really a thing.
It is because there's a scarf and it's on my legs. So, it's a thing.
Yeah. So, apologies for our lack of updates. We haven't really had a chance to record anything because you've been working a lot, I've been working a lot, and we haven't been off on the same days. So,
I've been sleeping a lot.
yes, but that's not a new thing. Hmm?
Sneezing a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, axes.
Yes. So the last prompt. The last prompt that we had was double-edged battle axes, and I wasn't very excited about it. But I'm actually really excited about the stuff that I've done because it's turned into a whole flipping project. Do you want me to show mine first?
No, we're not showing them. We're just gonna.
It's really good.
It's really good. You just have to believe us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, go get the things. There's things there.
So I realised that I didn't just. The prompt is like a starting point. I don't just have to draw a battle axe and then just be like, yeah, that was a battle axe.
A blibble axe.
A blibble axe. So.
It might be best if I come around.
I can just go.
Oh, well, that's magical. I didn't think of that.
So this is the first one. This is Brian, and this is Steve, and there are the double-edged battle axes they have. Now the prompt said with a leather handle, I think.
Yeah.
I ignored that.
I partly ignored that.
Let's just pretend that they had that. But that's a double-edged battle axe, so I've already won. When they get scared, they hit stuff with their battle axes.
I think that's an appropriate reaction to many things.
Yeah, this is Brian's leaf hat. So these guys have turned into a whole little project, and I love them, and they're my new friends. And I'm a bit like Brian, and Kane is Steve.
I'm not Steve.
You are. So here's another. This is Steve, and he has found a noble steed with a robe on his head.
And a swirly butt.
And he's like, onwards, noble steed. And they're going towards the giants. There's a bird in the sky, and he's like, I can see the giants. So now you know that in the next bit, there's a giant. Skip ahead. The Steve and Brian and their army of random blob people have found a giant. This is a relative down here of Steve, and he's shooting arrows at the giant. And the giant's just like, ouch. Please stop.
Poor giant.
Yeah. And I was just going to leave it at that, but Kane got a bit sad.
I was very sad. This is a very distressing image.
He is really cute.
He is an adorable giant, and I think
he's
it's very
really
sad
big,
that
and they're
he's
really
being
small,
attacked.
and they were scared of him. But he's a gentle giant. He's like the BFG. He's called Hugh. Hugh Giant. So I had to do another one then, because Kane was sad that was the end.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. So then they say sorry to the giant. He's picking arrows out of him still. He's a little bit sad. But there's Brian. That might be Steve. I don't know where Steve is. But they've put their arrows and their battle axes down, and they've got him a present to Giant to apologise for their awful behaviour.
I didn't even bother to learn his name.
No, I know. I didn't know his name at this point now. I just know he's called Hugh because I named him after this point. But that's okay. So he's happy now. This is what's in the present. So there was some balloons. There's Brian again. He's taken the leaf off his head. And they got him some socks with little trees on them.
Yep.
And a crown. So now he's happy.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'd be happy if I had socks and a crown.
You do have socks.
I
You
don't
need
have
to
a
work
crown
on the
though.
crown.
Yeah.
I'll make you a crown.
I haven't got socks as fancy as that.
They are good socks.
Yeah, good socks. You need to go sock shopping.
Brian and Steve have turned into this whole thing, so I did a Tiger art haul a while ago where I showed you this wonderful notebook that I purchased, and I might go purchase another one for my foresty drawings, mayhaps. But I'll just show you a snippet. I won't show you all of it because there's lots. And I'm trying
You can
to
show the rest in a
in a separate video. I'm
Yeah.
trying to fill the whole thing. I've got to here. I've done quite a
That's
few.
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of myself. Which one shall I show? Well, I'll show you the first one. Or the first little story, maybe. So, again, sorry, I just sniffed. So we've got Brian and Steve. And Brian sometimes wears a leaf as a hat, and Steve doesn't know why. So he's like, well, what's with the leaf? Tell me about the leaf. And Brian's just like, well, what leaf? So yeah, that's the first bit. And Brian's the reason that Steve gets headaches. Now I've got all punny, because he's like, oh hey, look, he's got 2 leaves. And he's like, leave me alone, Brian. Leave me alone. Leaf. See what I did there? Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yay. And there's Brian covered in leaves, looking very sad because Steve doesn't like him anymore. Oh no. And then it's the end of this little narrative. They haven't seen each other in a while. This is like a little reunion between Brian and Steve. They're like, oh hey Brian, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. You're looking well, cool. And none of them notice, or maybe Ryan does, I'm not sure, that Steve now has a leaf on his head. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
It's a nice little thingy.
Mhm.
I'll show you my other one that I did that recently. I won't show you all of them. It's quite like this. This isn't Brian or Steve. This is a little ladybug slash butterfly slash some, I don't know. It's a creature. And this is a creature's life cycle. So this is a grown-up bug. And the eggs come out of her butt, probably, I don't know. And then they hatch into a baby bug. And then she gets some beauty sleep. She gets some beauty sleep, and she's all snug as a bug in a bed or a rug, you know. And then she turns into a grown-up. So that's like the little life cycle of my bug creature.
Where are the axes?
There's no axes there. We've gone past axes.
Then I think it's time to move on.
The end.
Yeah.
The end. What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah,
I drew an axe. It's very exciting.
that makes sense actually.
Yeah. Do you wanna? Should I stop or pass this over or?
Yeah. Make me old lady noises as I get up.
So again, I'm probably going to cut this in from an actual recording on the screen. But point it over and we'll have that. So
That's a lot of axes. You said I drew an axe. You drew
Well,
a lot of axes.
I drew a lot of axes for, well, in like a, I guess like a concept arty style, where I was just trying to figure out lots of different shapes.
Not all of them are double-edged. Well, they kind of are.
Well, this is the thing. It didn't really specify what double-edged means.
Like whether the edges have to be like the same size or not.
I'm going to get really boring with my description of weapons now.
Okay.
But double-edged axes typically didn't really exist that much as you would think of them. Like you see in fantasy art, the kind of wood-cutting axes tend to. But with battle axes, the other edge would be something slightly different. So like it would be like a pointy thing more often than not for like getting through armour and things.
A multi-purpose axe.
Yeah, but I just kind of tested out loads of different styles and shapes. I was kind of going more for fantasy thing anyway because I don't do that often enough.
I like that one with the kind of circular swirly bit in the middle.
Yeah, so I was just doing random shapes. I started off kind of quite even and kind of like an actual
This
axe.
is cool too.
And then I started getting a bit crazier as I went along and just trying different things. And then I started trying out some perspective on them just to get some practice with the shapes. So I'm not happy with most of those, but they're good practice either way. And then I did the final one.
Oh wow, I haven't seen this. That's cool.
So this one it started off being a bit more fantasy-ish, and then I kind of pulled in my research stuff that I've been doing on medieval stuff.
Simplified it.
You've got, this is probably more like a poleaxe, but with a shorter handle on it. So you've got the spike bit at the rear. And then
so what would this bit be for? The shorter bit.
Is more if you needed to get to armour, more for piercing sort of thing. It also makes the back end a bit lighter, so you haven't got all the weight.
It's really pretty, actually. It's like a really lovely design for a horrific weapon.
Yeah,
it's very pretty.
And the handle is more square rather than round, because that gives you more control over knowing where your edge is.
That's really
so
good.
They tend to be more like a square-ish shape rather than round.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. But while I was doing that, or before I did this bit actually, I was working on just this character here on the side.
Yeah.
Just not for anything, just randomly as practice for stuff.
She's got good boobies.
Hmm?
She's got good boobies.
Yeah, so this is some random dwarf character, which, like I said, I didn't have a particular purpose for. So I just kind of changed it up a little bit.
You've gone for proper armour. See, with a lot of fantasy women's armour, they don't cover up a lot of stuff, do they?
No, I mean I like it when they do that if it makes sense. If it's just a silly fun thing, then fine, I don't mind. But when it tends to crop up in things that are a bit more serious and realistic. So yeah, this is a little bit more of a realistic thing. So then I kind of transferred that over and worked into it a little bit more.
Wow.
It's not really finished, but I don't have enough use for it to maybe actually finish it.
Yeah.
Unless maybe in the future I'm trying to sort out my portfolio.
It's a piece of concept art. That seems finished enough for a piece of concept art. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love the shading on the helmet.
Sure about the helmet.
I love the helmet.
Yeah, I changed the shape of it by altering where the light was falling on it. And
I really like the stark contrast between the shade, the light and the dark side.
I think in the original one it was like a larger eye slit, but then I went a bit more realistic and went for a narrower eye slit. But then that left that shape there, so I kind of picked it out with some highlights.
Yeah,
and
it's
changed the shape of the helmet, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. And I think it works for what it is, but I don't know if it was what I was going for.
Yeah.
But again, it's gone a little bit fantasy where the axe is like enormous. Like the axe would probably be less than a third of that size, and in reality, you don't need a very large axe to hit people with. You need large axes for hitting.
Quite strong, or is that?
Yeah.
So she'd probably have an oversized axe because she'd be stronger than a person.
Yeah, but you don't.
She doesn't need it that size.
You don't need it that size for hitting people. You need a big axe for hitting trees because they're very hard to take down.
Yeah.
So people tend to think of woodcutting axes like they're battle axes, but battle axes are tiny by comparison.
How have you got all of this stuff in your brain?
Well, because I've been researching it for my project.
Okay.
Remember, so.
You have a large capacity for interesting information.
Yeah.
That's just in your brain.
Not all of it's useful, unfortunately, but
it's cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I did with the prompt.
You've done lots of stuff, and I've done lots of stuff, and I think even though I was more excited about drawing a fox, I just drew a fox, and this was a lot. It was more vague. It was just like
I think in some ways having it more vague means you kind of have to work a bit more to come up with something interesting.
With a character, you just want to draw a character. You've drawn it, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
Whereas with an object, you're like, well, who would have it, and what would it be used for? And
yeah, you can do a lot more with it. You can probably do a lot more, like the fox thing. We could have probably done a lot more with that, but it doesn't lend itself to many ideas.
No.
So you kind of start off in a little box of I'm going to draw a cuddly fox, and then you're done. Whereas with something like this, you've got much more scope, and you have to think about it. You can't. Because even if I just drew an axe, it would have been boring. I would have been done in 10 minutes, and it just wouldn't have been interesting at all.
Shall we get the prompt book out and do another prompt?
Yeah, I think it'd be worth doing another one. It's my turn now, isn't it? I'm not sure where I put it. I think it's behind you there.
Oh. Look, this is my pile of books.
This is our pile of stuff we have to sort out one
This is
day.
my bear.
Which
He has a mustache.
yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Got some art stuff behind him, but you can't see it because it's hiding. This is my bookshelf. Got things on it. So I tell you when to stop, right?
Yeah.
Stop. Oh,
It wasn't on a good page.
okay. Stop.
Okay.
Right.
Right. 1, 2, or 3.
1.
A parasitic alien.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yay! Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I wonder if, like, Brian could have a parasitic alien on his head. And you know what? He probably wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe he is a parasitic alien. You don't know.
He's too cute.
Maybe the plant's a parasitic alien.
Ooh, yes. I like that. It's getting quite long now.
Yeah.
Shall we,
I think that's the end for now. I think we've shown what we did and we set up, so we can do a finish. I think.
Okie dokie. I haven't got the camera on you, so you can do a like and subscribe doodah.
Like and subscribe for some doodah
Yay!
or other things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is we're going to do, like and subscribe for it.
Like and subscribe for parasitic aliens.
And comment, because we need someone to talk to. We're very lonely.
We're not. We have Bob and a dinosaur and some more dinosaurs and that bear. Yay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.